It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you. I'm Philip Simon.
And of course, it's our pleasure to be back with you after what we hope was a wonderful and enjoyable weekend. We're certainly looking forward to a great show and a great week. And so it's a blessing to be here with all of you. Phil, how was the Father's Day?
Great, Star. Like the kids would say, it was chill. Was home for it yesterday. Didn't do anything, which was actually a great day. The kids were excited as usual. Sorry, Mom, I didn't make it out to church, the rain and all that. And she's kind of feeling lazy. She did call. But it was just really a chill day, Star, exactly how I wanted to be. Watched a little bit of TV. Had breakfast and lunch and great food, and of course, you had a little bit of crab and rice and got some things, got some gifts, and so it was good, man. It was good.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed Father's Day in particular, and hopefully the weekend overall. And in our house, I think my husband can say the same, that he did enjoy his day, that he was well taken care of, got some things, as you said, and enjoyed some crab and rice as well, right? And so I think that's the day. He got to spend as much of his little time with the kids as he wanted. It was all up to him, and everybody had a good day. And so, it's just a blessing, I think, to be able to honor and to celebrate fathers. And I always tell people it's not the day to think about anything negative as it relates to fathers, right? It is the day to celebrate and honor the very best of them, and to honor the good in them and the work that they do try to do. And so I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it, Phil. Hopefully our viewers enjoyed it as well. And I will end with the same sentiments that I ended with on Friday. And that is that, if it is that for whatever reason you didn't see your kids yesterday, or there's a strange relationship, as long as you're here, there's still time. And so we want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to mend and to move forward.
Yeah. And it's not a competition, right? In this world of social media, you see all of these pictures and all of these things, and maybe one father's able to do this in abundance and the other one is not able to. At the end of the day, it's all about love, right? It's all about love. So and congratulations once again to all the fathers out there. And here we are on the 21st of June into a new week, Star. New day, new mercy.
New day. Amen. And of course, yesterday, last evening at 11:32 p.m., we entered what is called the summer solstice, which would have been the longest day of sunlight moving into today. And so now it's officially summer. I mean, it's been summer in the Bahamas since February. Let's make it very clear in terms of the weather. But it's officially summer now. And of course, we'll learn more about what the weather's going to look like for us this week with Godfrey Burnside. We've got a great show lined up for you. We've been talking men's health all month, and we're continuing that conversation today. We've got Dr. Gregory Pinto joining us this morning.
Yeah, and we'll also be talking about International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, Star.
Wow, that sounds like an important conversation. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. But before we get into any of our segments for this morning, we're going to take a first look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Stan. Good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at sunrise, high pressure remained the dominant feature across the islands, along with some tropical moisture That will cause some showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly during the afternoon hours and mainly across the southeastern islands. Today, partly sunny, hot and humid, some cloudy periods across southeastern islands, with a few showers, even possible isolated thunderstorms, high temperature 91 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and muggy, and there's a chance of a few nighttime showers or a thunderstorm popping up. Your low going down to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And the regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 82 and 78. In Jamaica, 85 and 74. In Trinidad, 85 and 76. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 89 and 74. Across North America, Atlanta, 81 and 71. In Raleigh, 84 and 73. In Miami, 89 and 79. Dallas, Texas, 89 and 80. And Toronto, Canada, 78 and 64. As we go through the week, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds with some showers and possible thunderstorms. The low temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s, lower 90s at daytime, and the mid-60s at nighttime. If that puts you up in your first look at weather at sunrise, I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
First, it's more than just our name, more than just our achievements. It's our nature, and it's where we put our customers. At Bahamas First, we've refreshed our look, but our nature remains the same. We design insurance solutions that protect our customers from life's uncertainties, whatever they may be. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
The Bahamas and the world has been waging the war against COVID-19 for over a year now. In that time, much of our daily life has been irreversibly changed by lockdowns, job losses, and deaths in our families. As facial masking, hand sanitizing, and social distancing have become the new norm, the team at Doctors Hospital applauds the Bahamian public for doing your part to control and contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. It is time to take the fight a step further. With the COVID-19 vaccine now available, we encourage Bahamians to continue the fight and do your part in getting vaccinated. Please continue to be vigilant, wear a mask, and social distance. For more information on the COVID-19 vaccine, visit www.doctorshosp.com. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
The COVID-19 pandemic demands the most modern techniques and highest standards of sanitizing to ensure the safety of schools, businesses, churches, and of the ones we love. Treeline Divine Professional Sanitizers offer state-of-the-art electrostatic technology, providing maximum efficiency and coverage to protect your environment and preserve your health against mold and 99% of bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. With pricing to match your budget and standards to meet your highest expectations, we invite you to contact us for a free analysis of your weekly, monthly, or single-use needs. COVID-19's impact is strong, but our commitment to restoring your safety is even stronger. Treeline Divine Sanitizing. Spread confidence.
Thank you very much, Godfrey, and welcome back for those of you who haven't been with us in a long time. It's the day after Father's Day, and we're here on Bahamas at sunrise, still talking about men's health, still talking about World International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. And we have the good doctor back. It's been a minute since I've actually spoken with him, but so good to see him here this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. He is Dr. Kirk Christie, consultant psychiatrist, director of substance abuse at Sandilands, talking about this very same topic, International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Good morning, Doc. Welcome back to the show.
Yes, good morning, Bahamas, and it's such a pleasure of mine to be here once again to talk on the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking.
So tell us, I mean, it almost seems as though everything has a special day. And certainly this is one of those days I think could be every day, to be honest with you. But what does it mean? Why do we need this day and what's the purpose?
Yeah, it's very important for us to sensitize the general populace. And certainly this year, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, they've come up with a very good theme, and it's timely, that really speaks to the overall world drug problem. But certainly this year's theme is Share Facts on Drugs, Save Lives. And this theme infers that we all must present evidence-based data on the current world drug trends and also what's happening in our country, and endeavor to prevent the misinformation about drug usage, drug misuse, and certainly problematic drug use in the country. So it's very timely, and it stirs us to present scientific data. And it also stirs us to self-educate and also to pass this information on to our youth, especially our teenagers who may be experimenting with drugs, adolescents, our young adult population, and older adults and elder population.
In a world where, you hear these terms all the time, fake news, and of course, everything is at our fingertips and information and is out there, and some people just take everything that they see as facts. You said it, I mean, how important is it to have the right information and to address things that could be misinformation?
Yes, with the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, it is also evident that many in the general population are concerned about their physical health, their mental health. Certainly, they are concerned about protective measures for staying healthy, and also enduring this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And so there are many persons who have children, they have younger children, young adults who may be using substances, who may not have a problematic drug use or even an addiction, but certainly parents want to give information, the appropriate information to their children. We also have persons who are having problematic drug use of alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine, and also have developed drug use addictions or drug use disorders, formerly known as addictions. So it is very important for us to self-educate, to bring public awareness, certainly those who are treatment providers in the country, and also our prevention specialists as well.
In the posts that you have and the titles that you have you seen and do you feel as though this is a problem? I mean, you said it. I mean, the whole world has been focused so much on COVID and the pandemic over the last year and a half or so. Have you seen a rise in such related cases related to drug abuse and illicit trafficking that might have gone under the radar?
Yes, Mr. Simon, I would say that we have seen persons still presenting to our community outpatient psychiatric center on Collins Avenue who meet the criteria for problematic drug use and also drug use disorders. So I cannot say at this time that there is an increase, but we have steady referrals to our Thursday specialty clinic at the Community Counseling and Assessment Center. But I would say that because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, you may have had persons who turn to alcohol use, nicotine usage to cope with what they were experiencing over the course of last year And also this year with the whole threat and emergence of the virus, the lockdowns, the weekend lockdowns, and also with the prohibitions related to curfew. So we need to do further research in this area in country, and certainly in the near future to do a population study on the incidence and the prevalence of drug use disorders and problematic drug use in the country.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about preventative measures and you know what may be treatment options once such persons present themselves.
Yes, I would say that I think we need to be observant as parents, as family members. Oftentimes, you may see a loved one who is using substances such as alcohol, marijuana, and cocaine, and you see the decline in their functioning in life arenas, in their occupational, social, educational, religious arena, and you may see emotional disturbances and behavioral disturbances. So I would say to families, do not be dismissive of your loved one's problem. Oftentimes we criticize our loved ones, but I would say go with them to their primary care physician. And if there's a referral to the Community Counseling and Assessment Center to see a drug treatment specialist, go with that person. Oftentimes persons are fearful of coming into the psychiatric center. There may be fear, stigma, and they feel as if the lack of confidentiality and anonymity. But if you go with them, offer that support, it will be very important for them to get the help that they need.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Any closing words relative to either the center, people can find out more information, or the actual day, the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking?
Yes, I would just like to encourage all members of the society to share facts on drugs to help save lives. Secondly, do your part to combat misinformation by sharing the real facts on drugs regarding the health risks, the harms and the hazards of drug use, and also the symptoms of a drug use disorder, formerly known as a drug addiction. There's a wealth of information at the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime. You can Google it. Also at the National Institute of Drug Abuse, you can Google it, and there are many fact sheets on the commonly misused substances.
All right, thank you so much. Dr. Kirk Christie, consultant psychiatrist, director of substance abuse at Sandilands. Thank you so much, Doc.
Yes, it's been my pleasure.
All right, you're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
The COVID-19 pandemic demands the most modern techniques and highest standards of sanitizing to ensure the safety of schools, businesses, churches, and of the ones we love. Treeline Divine Professional Sanitizers offer state-of-the-art electrostatic technology, providing maximum efficiency and coverage to protect your environment and preserve your health against mold and 99% of bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. With pricing to match your budget and standards to meet your highest expectations, we invite you to contact us for a free analysis of your weekly, monthly, or single-use needs. COVID-19's impact is strong, but our commitment to restoring your safety is even stronger. Treeline Divine Sanitizing. Spread confidence.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. With us this morning, we're happy to welcome Dr. Gregory Pinto. Of course, he's a urologist with Urology Care Bahamas. And today he's going to be talking with us about men's health. It's been an important conversation for us all month long. And so, Dr. Pinto, we're happy to welcome you to this conversation. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me, and belated Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And I always have to say good morning to my daughter, Gia.
A very special good morning to Gia, an absolute sweetheart. I don't know if it's her mom's personality or her dad's.
Mix of both.
A mix of both, a mix of both. All right, Dr. Pinto, let's get into this important conversation. Why is it that Bahamian men should take responsibility for their health?
Well, even before this COVID-19 pandemic, the health crisis among men in this country has been at crisis level. Hypertension, diabetes, obesity going back to childhood is a pandemic in itself. Men are notoriously stubborn. They love to live in an ignorance of blissful ignorance that if they don't know anything, everything is fine. Even when they find that their health is deteriorating before their eyes, they refuse to seek help. So from non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, coronary artery disease, it's an overwhelming crisis in this country. We have one of the highest rates of obesity in the region, if not the world. We have a high rate of prostate cancer, and unfortunately, too many men, as many as 90 men, die unnecessarily in this country from prostate cancer every year. So education is key, early diagnosis is key, follow-up management, being diligent in terms of being aware of the symptoms and seeking a consult immediately is extremely important for men in this country.
All right. So Dr. Pinto, you mentioned a lot of things there that we unfortunately are very aware of. We talked about the 90 men that die each year unnecessarily from prostate cancer. You mentioned hypertension, diabetes. And I think for us as a nation, it's almost become commonplace as if this should be expected that you will at some point get diabetes, you will at some point get hypertension, rather than it being preventative. But how are these connected to urology? Why should men see urologists, and what is the connection there?
Well, first of all, I'm a physician before I even became a urologist. So I'll see people for annual physicals all the time. Men, women, children. Urologists see from newborns to 105-year-olds, men and women. The issue is that our body is integral and our well-being, not just physically, but emotionally. Diabetes affects urology in so many areas, from increases your risk for kidney stones. It's one of the leading causes of erectile dysfunction. In terms of obesity, you'd be surprised, but obesity doesn't cause prostate cancer, but it makes, if you do get prostate cancer, you have a more aggressive form of prostate cancer and you have a worse prognosis. So we need to have healthier living. We need to have behavioral modifications, diet modifications. We need to get our body mass index within normal parameters. And we need to get annual physicals every year. For prostate cancer, Bahamian men are at very high risk for prostate cancer because we're primarily of African ancestry, because we have a high rate of obesity, because we have a high rate of BRCA gene mutations, breast-related cancer gene mutations, and that in itself puts you at high risk of getting prostate cancer. If you have a BRCA gene 2 mutation, your chance of getting prostate cancer in your lifetime is 8 times greater than if you don't. So you're almost inevitable to get prostate cancer. So we need to be aware of our family history, our genetic history. We need to make sure that we're living the healthiest life possible. This is a family effort. This is a group effort. This is a community effort. So men, if you leave it to them, they're not going to do anything. The wives have to be on top of them, the sons, the daughters, the cousins, the nephews, the church members, your colleagues. If you see that something's going on, you need to encourage them. And many men are afraid to admit that something's going wrong. But let's just say something as simple as erectile dysfunction. Every man faces erectile dysfunction at some point in their life. If they spoke to their family members, their colleagues, they would find out that many of them are going through the same thing. There's no shame in it. The real tragedy is living without seeking help and finding a solution. So you can always rise again if you have erectile dysfunction. Prostate cancer is one of the easiest cancers to treat. If we pick it up early, there's no big recovery or any painful ordeal. We can do a minimally invasive procedure. You can get back to your life, have normal erections. So we need to pick up these diseases early. We need to treat them. If you have high blood pressure, you have to accept it. You need to take your medication. You can't say that it's because you go to the doctor that the doctor machine is wrong or that you have the anxiety of seeing the doctor. That's why you have high blood pressure. High blood pressure has no symptoms. Prostate cancer, until it's advanced, has no symptoms. So if you're going to wait until you have symptoms, it's going to be too late. So even if you feel perfectly fine, we need to make sure that everything in terms of your hypertension, if you make sure you don't have diabetes, make sure your cholesterol is normal, make sure that your weight is normal. And we need to exercise 3 times a week. So healthy living is everything. Everything is in moderation. Unfortunately, too many men drink to excess in this country. And then the more important thing is a lot of men don't like to speak about is emotional health, psychological health. That's very prominent and it should be at the forefront of our minds with the stress of this COVID-19 pandemic. You need to, if you're having issues with depression, if you're having issues with anxiety, there's no fear in seeking help. There are excellent psychologists, psychiatrists out there who provide confidential help and get you back healthy and happy again.
Well, Dr. Pinto, I'm so grateful that you joined us this morning. And I think that you've mentioned so many different areas, right? Some of them very urology focused, some of them very specific to that type of work, right? So erectile dysfunction, making sure that you're taking steps to avoid prostate cancer. But a lot of them just generally speaking to our man population and saying to them that there's help available to you. And I think that that's an important conversation to have. And for us to start to destigmatize some of the things that we've talked about, things like erectile dysfunction, yes, but also mental health. And saying to people that it is okay if you feel anxious or if you feel depressed, let's talk about it, right? And so I'm always happy when you join us because you always leave us with something to look forward to in terms of making our lives a little bit better. Before we go, Dr. Pinto, how can we reach you and connect with you if there is a man watching the show or a good woman in his life that wants to get him to see you? How can we connect with you?
Well, I'm a consultant urologist at Princess Margaret Hospital, so you can get a referral from the local clinic to see me. I also have a website, urologycarebahamas.com, and my main office is at Centerville, Oak Tree in Centerville, and the number there is 322-1145.
All right. Dr. Pinto, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been talking with Dr. Pinto just about some things affecting men's health. Men, we really want to encourage you to start doing those regular checkups, as Dr. Pinto mentioned. Sometimes things may show up. Often when it does, it's a little too late. But if you would just go in regularly, then people like Dr. Pinto are able to assist you with getting on the right track. So those are some final thoughts we want to leave with you today. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
The Bahamas and the world has been waging the war against COVID-19 for over a year now. In that time, much of our daily life has been irreversibly changed by lockdowns, job losses, and deaths in our families. As facial masking, hand sanitizing, and social distancing have become the new norm, the team at Doctors Hospital applauds the Bahamian public for doing your part to control and contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. It is time to take the fight a step further. With the COVID-19 vaccine now available, we encourage Bahamians to continue the fight and do your part in getting vaccinated. Please continue to be vigilant, wear a mask, and social distance. For more information on the COVID-19 vaccine, visit www.doctorshosp.com. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
The COVID-19 pandemic demands the most modern techniques and highest standards of sanitizing to ensure the safety of schools, businesses, churches, and the ones we love. Treeline Divine Professional Sanitizers offers state-of-the-art electrostatic technology, providing maximum efficiency and coverage to protect your environment and preserve your health against mold and 99% of bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. With pricing to match your budget and standards to meet your highest expectations, we invite you to contact us for a free analysis of your weekly, monthly, or single-use needs. COVID-19's impact is strong, but our commitment to restoring your safety is even stronger. Treeline Divine Sanitizing. Spread confidence.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point and what we hope is going to be a marvelous Monday for you. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
And I'm Philip Simon. Happy Monday to you indeed.
Of course. Well, it's been a great show so far this morning. We've been talking a lot about men's health, Phil, and I know that you have I guess, kind of become an unofficial ambassador for this conversation, right, over the last few years. But it's so important to me that we continue to have
I'm
it.
so glad you didn't say poster boy.
Yeah, unofficial ambassador. But I feel like I think I hope that Bahamas at Sunrise continues to reach people, right, and helps us to see and value the importance of these important conversations. There is help available, and we just have to start to talk about the things that are wearing us down. There's this belief that's been fostered in us that our human condition or our experience is different from somebody else's, but we are so much more alike than we can imagine. And if we would only share, then we would understand how many more of us are going through the same things and then be able to seek help, right? Not just stay in the sadness of whatever might be burdening us, but being able to get help for it. And so I'm just really happy that we're having these conversations.
Yeah, I think it kind of hits home, right? The last several years, whether we want to look at our lives from an individual perspective, certainly for me, and then collectively as a globe, the last couple of years, whether, you're experiencing the challenges that the Bahamas had as a nation or the world has experienced, with COVID, you begin to realize, Star, that, life is fleeting, that it's fragile, that despite the Marvel, series and, what we might see on, social media and the movies, these bodies, as wonderfully made as they are, they can also be fragile, right? And we have to take care of them. And what we do to it, we will get back in return. And sometimes we don't even have to do anything and it reacts to certain, conditions. So yeah, you're right. And particularly as men, I keep recalling what Dr. Roberts would have said when he was in the show last week or the week before that, as men, and we hear it all the time, Pinto said it again, we kind of take it for granted, right? Because we're told to be invincible or we're expected to be invincible. And, and if you say, oh, my back is hurting this morning or, these types of things that somehow it impacts your manhood. So yeah, it's foolishness, man. Go get yourself checked out. Pain is an indicator that something is wrong.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And so grateful that we get to have these conversations on Bahamas at Sunrise. I think one of the other challenges, of course, that many men have faced based on that same sort of societal concept, Phil, is how do we manage our finances? And it always seems to have that burden fall on men. And so over the years, of course, we've had and seen more women rise to the occasion in that respect, but still this burden, I think, lies on men, which could also impact health in other ways. Well, today we want to talk about finances. It won't be directly with men's health, but it will be as a first nation. We had the financial voice just last week. And so Carlos Mackey is going to join us in this next half of the show to bring some more of his thoughts to our screen. So we hope that you'll stay tuned for that.
Yeah. It may not be directly related to men's health, but I tell you what, finances could cause some stress that impacts mental and physical health, no doubt about it. And of course, we'll finish off our show with a Zest Wellness segment. But before we do this, Godfrey, man, I keep on saying it every show. Star, it's so different. I mean, I can see your face on TV, but we never get to see Godfrey. We're going to have to work on something, right? We got to work on something. We need to get together, have lunch. But anyway, here's Godfrey Burnside with our second look with Weather at Sunrise.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Phil, and good morning, Bahamas. And your second look at weather at sunrise. We take a trip around the tropics. And we do have Tropical Storm Claudette. And at 5 a.m. this morning, Claudette was located near latitude 35.6 degrees north, longitude 77.6 degrees west, 65 miles east-southeast of Raleigh in North Carolina. Claudette moving east-northeast at 25 miles per hour. Winds now sustained at 40 miles per hour with higher gusts. And then we're watching Tropical Wave about 1,000 miles east of Windward Islands. Has a low chance, 10% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 5 days. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 5 days. In the local scene, high pressure remains dominant feature, along with some tropical moisture There will enhance showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days, mainly across the southeastern islands. In the marine forecast, those winds southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Tuesday, those winds continue east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the northwest Bahamas, 15 knots, sea 2 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Wednesday, over all the islands, east to southeast at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. Yet tides. You can expect a low tide 11:17 this morning. Next high tide will be at 5:45 this evening. Low again tomorrow morning at 13 minutes past midnight. Sunset 8:01 this evening, rising around 6:21. UV index 9. Your water temperature 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and your moon phase now going towards the full moon. Standard look, high pressure continue to be a normal feature, along with some tropical moisture. So look at a mix of sun and clouds with the showers, a couple of thunderstorms popping up, and those temperatures daytime will be in the upper 80s to lower 90s at daytime and the mid-70s at nighttime. So that puts you up on your phone. Look at the sunrise. I'm comfortable inside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. As you all know, last week we had our annual Financial Voice broadcast. This is the broadcast which we discussed our annual budget and what it could mean for our country. This morning we have back on Bahamas at Sunrise, Carlos Mackey. He's the president of Money Max Company. Big Papa, happy belated Father's Day, by the way, Carlos. And he's here this morning to talk a little bit about, that budget, talk about obviously the broadcast last week. Carlos, we're still in June. July 1st is when we kind of enter into our new fiscal year as a nation. Finishing up debates here this morning, I think in Parliament with the Prime Minister's address. But again, from what you've heard thus far about the annual budget, what are your reflections?
Indeed. Happy Father's Day to you as well. Thank you for having me this morning. I think one of the most important things, particularly that came up in the Financial Voice, was that a lot of the panelists felt that there were missed opportunities in this budget, particularly as we talk about what's going to happen with the debt and the deficit. Deficit is your annual spending gap in terms of how much more you're spending compared to what you're making. And then the debt is what is accumulated over the years. So one of the things that everyone seemed to be in agreement about was you're either going to essentially have austerity, which is you're going to stop spending, or if you don't want to stop spending, now we have to talk about how do we induce growth. So for me, one of the things that I think is going to be extremely important is what are the growth inducement factors? There's some conversation about Invest Bahamas, how we are going to provide Bahamians with concessions that are essentially on par with what I would call foreign companies, foreign direct investors are getting. I think the bigger question around concessions period is we need to look at all of the concessions, put them all on the table and do an assessment. Are the concessions that we have in place now even working? That's one of the conversations that we really don't have enough about. We have places like the big resorts, some of the private gated home communities. All of these are concessions. These concessions lead to all sorts of things. People being able to bring in cars duty-free, materials duty-free, and people even being able to bring in labor and work permits. So I think there has to be a real discussion around if you want growth and you say you're gonna use this tool of concessions, how do all of these concessions work together? Are there some places where some of these concessions even need to be sunsetted? So we need to have a conversation around, you know what? Big hotel number one, big hotel number two, we're going to give you 7 years or 10 years and we're going to sunset these concessions, because I think one thing we know is that the Bahamian people are not in a place where we can afford more taxes. That's absolutely that's out the window.
Yeah, not in the medium near term, maybe not even long term, right? But just to take a step back, because sometimes when we talk budgets and we hear the parliamentarians go back and forth and, you read the documents, it seems large. It seems like a big thing, and to in layman terms, sometimes there's not a connection, and people think, well, that's for them to figure out. That's for the government to figure out. But it's a very important document, and if you want to step it back, like they say, walk it back into our own personal situations. What is the purpose of a budget, and specifically on a national level, what is it that we should be hoping to accomplish?
Absolutely. So a budget is essentially what you would call I call it your daily Bible for how you're going to manage your financial life. It's not as important, obviously, as the Word of God, but I say that because you have to have a roadmap for the way that you're going to live. If you are making $100, you need to know what that $100 is going to do for you. So you try to set out your priorities: food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and whatever other utilities you may have. And then you look at, all right, once I've dealt with my priorities, if you're a person of faith, you would probably want to pay tithes or make some charitable contributions. But once you've done that, then you get to what you would call your proper discretionary measures, which may be things like entertainment, which may be things like going out. If you don't have this roadmap and you spend more money on entertainment and going out and frivolous, and let me not call vacation frivolous, because vacation is important, but some things that are of lower priority, you spend all your money on those things first, and then you try to get to those things that are necessities. What you will often find is that you've run out of money before you've gotten to your necessities, and now you have a situation where you have to figure out how you're going to make up the gap, which leads a lot of us into what we would call unnecessary lending or imprudent borrowing, rather. So a budget on a national scale requires us, or should require us, to have a plan around what are those necessities, what are those priorities for the nation, so that we can invest in those, because it's really about investment, particularly at the national level. Budgets should be about investment. Can we invest in our priorities such that when we get to the glossy, shiny objects, we are only spending what we would call discretionary funds on those, because we've already taken care of our priorities.
So with that in mind, and based on what we've heard over the last several weeks, we definitely have heard where there may be gaps, where there may be challenges. Are there any items in the budget that kind of really stuck out as something you loved about the budget, and are there any points that you would change?
Well, I would say this. I don't know if there's anything that I necessarily love about the budget. It's not necessarily that I would say that I hate the budget either. I think all of us would do things differently based on what seats we sat in. What I would point the Bahamian public's attention to is the interest costs that we're financing. Interest costs are essentially, in my view, that's pretty much, we're at the place where it's the largest, what you'd call subset of spending right now. You're talking about $500 million in interest costs. It's more than healthcare, more than education, right? For all of us, that should give us pause. Have we had the right set of priorities? And are we going forward making the investments in the right things? I think that, to me, just what we're spending on interest, because obviously it seems as though we have robbed our future to pay for our past and present to some respect. So I do think, above everything else, for me, we have to figure out what are we going to do around that interest cost? Because if we're talking about borrowing another $1 billion because of deficits and our inability to manage the debt, if we're already at a place where half of that is really just interest costs, to me, it says that we haven't probably done as good a job in managing our fiscal affairs. But we have to consider, are we doing a good job about paving the way forward? So I won't say anything about whether I think the budget is good or bad. I just want Bahamians to think about, if our interest cost is literally right now the highest part of the budget, and we're talking about borrowing another $1 billion, what should that tell us about the direction that we're headed? And do we necessarily want to continue going on in that direction? I don't think that our leaders are doing things that are what you would call with malintent. But I do think that we have to now, as a people, tell them what our priorities are and demand around what investments we think need to be made in the future, and say, listen, if we are going down this road, if you're going to be spending with a big deficit, there has to be growth, and we should be pushing for growth in specific areas, particularly around the Family Islands, right? We have a debt to GDP ratio that's almost now 100%. And we are still in a place where 4 or 5 Family Islands have seen pretty much all of the development. That's something that we have to consider. Our nation is essentially unable to pay its bills, but we can only say out of our potentially 20 to 25 inhabitable, seriously inhabitable islands, only 5 are really developed. I think that's something that we should think about.
You know, Carlos, the last question I was going to ask you, you started to address because, there are different levels, right? You mentioned there's the leadership level and persons in government and otherwise making decisions for us, and heads of major corporations, financial institutions, et cetera, who also have an impact on how we live. And then there's the level of me, those of us who are on the streets, and I'm not saying that's where I'm at, but for the regular common Bahamian, what is it that I could do or that we could do in our own circle to impact the budget? Again, these alarming, interest rates, et cetera. Are we hopeless in things that we can do within our own homes, within our own businesses?
Absolutely not. So I think one of the things we have to realize when we talk about recessions and when we talk about periods of instability, that's really, in my view, an aggregation of a significant number of individual and community-based, what you would call problems, and community-based and individual-based stagnation. So the first thing is, I think that we have to, as Bahamians, and I know I don't want to get preachy, but we have to do a better job of being our brother's keepers, right? I think within our family and friend groups, there are often what I would call opportunities for us to do more. And I don't know if we always utilize those opportunities. There may be simple as giving somebody that a small job that will allow them to have some level of what you would call financial independence. I think that's the first thing, because the reality is the social services budget cannot take care of everybody that needs care. So I don't believe in this thing where we give people free money. I think that there should be some kind of, even in our individual lives, if somebody says to you, I need $5, I need $10, your answer should be not that I'm going to give that to you, or not that I don't want to give it to you. All right, what can I have you do to earn that? I think we have to develop, first and foremost, within our individual lives, a culture of earning. The second thing I think that's extremely important is that we have to, on an individual level, make a decision to invest and invest with each other.
Okay.
I think we don't have the kind of culture that we used to have around things like ASUS, which used to, in times past, help people get houses built and used to help people be able to send kids off to college. I think we have to get back to a culture where, whether we're using different legal structures or whatever it may be, we have to figure out ways to invest, because there are lots of Bahamians with great ideas, lots of Bahamians with great, what we call operational and management acumen, but it's very hard for us to tell foreign banks, because most of our banks are foreign, to invest in us when we are not prepared to invest in each other. So first thing is, let's give somebody a chance. Second, let's invest in each other. And thirdly, let's actually figure out where we want to go as individuals. Too many of us in life are simply floating. Life is happening to us. I think if we as individuals actually picked where we wanted to go, then you would actually see a country that could make up its mind about where we want to go. Because as a country, we have not yet charted where we want the country to be in, let's say, the year 2050. And I think it's hard for us to do that on the country level when we in our individual lives haven't figured out, what's my 5-year plan? What's my 10-year plan? I think if we were to do those 3 things, look out for each other, invest in each other, and figure out where we want to go as individuals, the country itself will, instead of having all of these individual stagnations and problem points leading to what we call recession and depressed activity, you would now have a lot of personal growth, personal development, personal prosperity aggregating into national growth and prosperity.
Right. Well said. I know you said you didn't want to sound preachy this morning, but I think Star would endorse that. Carlos, thank you so much, man.
Phil, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, bro.
All right. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
The sports we play depend on the health we build. So let's stay healthy. Wear a mask and practice social distancing and hand washing to protect yourself and others. Remember, COVID-19 is not a game.
A public service message from the Bahamas Olympic Committee.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, and thank you for staying with us. CG Atlantic Medical and Life announced the winner in their Great Zest Challenge recently, and our Suzette Parker has that story.
Members of CG Atlantic Medical and Life's Zest Wellness Program were invited to participate in the Great Zest Challenge, where teams competed to achieve fitness goals and win exciting prizes.
Our Great Zest Challenge was a competition with 8 teams that participated. It ran for the month of May 2021, and it was 4 weeks of hard, grueling questions being presented to those teams. It was a scavenger hunt, a digital scavenger hunt in that capacity. You know, we at Zest, we like to use apps and other platforms to get people motivated and a little bit more active. It allowed for these teams to participate, earn points through various activities like doing jumping jacks on the outdoors, or identifying some of our Zest Wellness resources that we have available, whether on social media or on our wellness blog.
The teams were diverse.
So we had teams such as the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, Central Bank of the Bahamas. We had our very own CG Coral Isles, a part of those teams as well. And those teams were comprised of males and females, age range from 50 years of age down to 21 years of age. Predominantly females made those lists, and then just to hear some of the challenges they face being mothers, being wives, being individuals who are executives as well, and how they are able to navigate through those issues and still participate in these challenges. And actually some of the teams have even won.
My team were full of athletic, competitive, ambitious people. Like, I enjoyed my team so much because I was on it and they was on it too. For every challenge, every Monday when the challenge was released, we was on top of that. You know, we have like 2 mothers, 2 fathers. I was the only like single one with no children, but they made it work even with their schedules, having to pick up kids and deal with the work-home balance and working from home. They did all of that. Everybody did such a good job to come together because we always focus on a common goal, and I love that about my team. I love my team.
First of all, we chose our team based on persons that had fitness goals, because we didn't know what the challenge would entail. So we found persons that were fitness gurus who either exercise daily or who were very conscious about their health. So we had 5 adults, all adults, and then 3 females, 2 males, all senior persons within the commission, all parents, so 3 mothers, 2 fathers. So that was the basis of our team. We found persons who we didn't have to drag along to do the exercises, so that was the good part about it. So we found persons that were really fitness conscious and also competitive.
My team, we're composed of mainly a group of parents. Some of us are married, some are single. We're all employees of the Central Bank from various departments, facilities, research department, and IT.
The weekly challenges were varied and team building.
The weekly challenges were like they would ask us to go to a public park, for example, and film ourselves doing 30 jumping jacks, or revisit a Zest Wellness seminar and find one clue in like an answer to one question in like an hour-long seminar. So it was really challenging. Like that was really challenging because you have to watch the whole thing and then you have to keep your ears open for the one answer to the question that they'd have. I remember one of them, they were like, it was like 4 hours, a 4-hour seminar. We had to find one answer to that. That was really challenging. Another thing that they asked us to do was like give back to the community, and my team donated clothes to the Salvation Army, and we got to visit some of the Zest Wellness partners like Evolve. We went to Evolve to take a picture. It was really good. I enjoyed that.
For my team, the difficulty level came in terms of coming together, meeting together, finding the time to come together, because while we all work at the Securities Commission, we are still working from home, and there are times or days when persons had to go into the office for meetings, so we just had to coordinate. Of course, we had 3 females, of course, the ones that would be the organizers. We'll do it this time, and we just had to tell the guys, okay, meet us this place at this time. It worked in our favor because, like I said, they were all competitive and they were all focused on getting the job done, which was a plus for us. But in terms of the difficulty level of the challenges, it wasn't really challenging at all. It was just our biggest challenge was coming together and making it all happen.
Team members entered the competition with firm personal goals in mind.
Our fitness goals for the team, I would say, outside of the challenge was we have a lot of physically fit persons on the team. So we have one who is now, one of the females, she is health conscious to losing. She is on a losing weight streak. So we really didn't know what the challenge would entail. So we just know Zest Wellness was all about health, and it was all about fitness. So we knew that getting those goals together, and this would be something that would help her to move forward in those goals. Another one of our team members, he's also on our leaderboard in terms of tracking steps. In one day, he have like almost 30,000 steps. Where are you walking in Nassau? So we realized that we needed to get you on our team because you were someone that were conscious every day about walking. So either before work, he's walking every day, and likewise myself, we walk or we exercise enough. So the goals are in terms of just staying fit and staying healthy as best as we can.
We just wanted to be more active. Some of us are at different levels, at higher, more advanced levels of fitness. For me in particular, I wanted to get back on my feet. I had been very inactive since the pandemic, so I just got back into this around March or so. So it's been a very nice experience to be able to get involved in these kinds of activities.
There are many advantages to the Zest Wellness program offered by CG Atlantic Medical and Life.
Our holistic program speaks for itself, from biometric programming to disease management programs to even garden initiatives, step counting and step tracking and step challenges, to healthy eating competitions and various different apps and programs available to them. It keeps them very engaged. And then being very innovative, like challenges like the Great Zest Challenge that we're speaking about today. These are challenges that get people exercising without having to think that they're exercising. Make it fun and engaging, create social environment, and obviously in a safe, distant kind of capacity. But also, we provide resources that go beyond just health. We provide resources that initiate motivation, resources that get people thinking out of the box. But the overall goal is to get people moving and to get them eating healthy without making them think that they're actually doing it.
You get perks at Showman Bistro, at Manuelo's, all those different places. They're all partners, and I don't know, why not join Zest Wellness? You get health, and you get your health insurance, and you get to maintain your health, and people who actually care, It's a good incentive. It's a good incentive to maintain good health. That's how I look at it.
To companies who are thinking about joining Zest Wellness or have never considered, I would highly recommend Zest Wellness. The Securities Commission has been one of the first companies in this program, and I must say, I'm not sure exactly how many years we've been in it, but I'm one of the champions for the commission, and I must say that this challenge is, if not only for a fitness and a health aspect, just company morale. It keeps your company, it keeps your staff on the cutting edge. They look forward not only to the incentives at the end of every quarter, but they look forward to competing. Like I said, even though my team was only a 5-member team, consider that with the entire commission a competitive body of persons. So not only it brings an awareness to health, even just the different farmers market and what we grow here in the Bahamas, and helps us to go out and find those things that are homegrown and become a bit more healthy. We are in an era where persons are a bit more health conscious. So just, if not only for a healthy company, I would say also to be a company that engages your staff in having a good company morale.
Finally, the winner of the Great Zest Challenge for May was announced.
So ladies, I know it's been a long few weeks and the anticipation has been brewing. We thank you guys for participating in this year's The Great Zest Challenge. We officially have the winners, and we are going to announce that right now. Are you guys ready?
Oh boy. Yes, I am.
Don't get nervous. Don't faint now, okay?
I'm ready.
All right. So in third place, we have the Central Bank of the Bahamas. And in second, just skewing away from first, we have the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, which makes our winner CG Atlantic. Now, again, this was a unanimous win, and also it was anonymous. And we congratulate each of you for participating. The congratulations extends to your teammates, and we hope you guys continue to do well, okay?
Thank you. I feel great. It is well deserved. 4 runners definitely deserve this win. And I'm so happy for myself and for my team. We did an amazing job. I'm happy that I was chosen to accept this win for us, and go for
For Bahamas at Sunrise, this is Suzette Parker.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you all so much for staying with us today. Of course, that's going to do it for us. We hope that you enjoyed the show.
Yep, and we hope you have a wonderful week. One day removed from Father's Day, 21st of June. We got more to go. Have a wonderful week, Star. I'm really enjoying this weather. Just loving it all.
I'm happy to see you in a place of enjoyment, Phil. You absolutely deserve it. And so do all of you. So make it a wonderful week. God's brand life will be back with you on Friday. See you then.